Lots to talk about the government minutes of the day within now. For example, these £2,000 credit cards being given to migrants being sent back home. What we're going to do about welfare spending, because that's in his brief. But let's kick with this. The government has partnered with Premier League clubs to get more young people into work by increasing the number of youth hubs around the country.
£25 million worth of investment. The government hopes to double the number of places to more than 200 across England, Scotland and Wales. The Work and Pensions Secretary, Pat McFadden, joins us live now from the finest football ground in the country, with a trophy cabinet groaning with the amount of silverware that Crystal Palace have managed to amass just in the past few months. Very good morning to you. Well, look, you know, I have to declare an interest here. I'm a massive Palace fan. I'm a patron of their foundation as well. What is it you want to take from their winning ways to apply across the country?
Well, it's a great time to be here at Crystal Palace. As you say, probably the most successful time in the club's history. They are fifth in the Premier League right now. They're flying high. The trophy cabinet is full. They're doing great. But I'm here today less on the football side and more on the community side. Crystal Palace, like a lot of football clubs, have a foundation that works in the community. In Palace's case, as you'll know, being a supporter, it's called Palace for Life. And they host a youth hub here. And these youth hubs are really important because we need to go where young people are. And the power of the brand of a club like Crystal Palace or other Premier League clubs is really, really powerful. And if they can use just a small part of that power to open their doors to young people, to get them to come in, to have help with work finding, work experience, training opportunities, partly through staff from my department, from the Department of Work and Pensions, then that can help young people into work. And I've just been doing this job for 3 weeks now. And my biggest early priority is to help young people into work, because the last thing that I or anybody else wants to see is people graduating from school and going on to benefits. So I'm here today to announce £25 million of investment to double the number of youth hubs like the one they've got here at Crystal Palace, so we can have more of them all around the country to help young people into work.
You have also said, Pat McFadden, that reform of the welfare system, the benefit system, must happen. We know that the government had to abandon a huge chunk of its plans to cut benefits. Huge bill, and it is going up exponentially. So what are you doing to cut the welfare system?
Well, a big reform that's still going through is the change to the universal credit system. And that is really important because it deals with some of the incentives that we've had in the system to people declaring themselves unfit for work to double their money, which is what's been happening up until now. And we've changed those incentives so that there is a smaller gap between what people get on, if you like, standard universal credit, what we might have called unemployment benefit in old money, and the health element of universal credit. That went through as part of the reforms in the summer. That's really important, and it deals with the point of incentives. The second question is the matter of support. Up until now, the system has been too ready to sign people off sick and then never contact them again. And through a programme called Pathways to Work, we're putting a lot of extra money into getting support to people, to invite them in, to not regard their sickness condition as permanent, but to ask them if they are interested in finding work, to support them getting work. That has not been happening before. What was happening was people were declaring themselves long-term sick, and then the system was never contacting them again. So on two fronts, both incentives and support, we are reforming the system.
But you will know that the overwhelming impression in this country now is that this government is hobbled and limited by how far it can reform welfare payments because of your backbenchers. Your backbenchers simply won't allow anything too radical to get through.
Well, look, the reforms had a rocky time in July, and we've had to take this forward in a different way. we're doing that. My colleague Stephen Timms is leading a review of personal independence payments with some of the charities involved in that sector. That will report next year. We're taking that forward in a different way, but reform of the system is constant. As I said, through the youth hubs we are announcing today, which is extra help to get young people into work.
You've mentioned that,
to work, to help disabled
and it is
people,
important.
And the incentives.
I'm going to ask
so reform does go on.
I'm going to ask you then. This morning we have seen the first time ever that a journalist has managed to film on a deportation flight, and on that flight, many of those being deported who were convicted of crimes in this country, including sexual abuse and even murder, are filmed receiving a credit card loaded up with £2,000. Now, these are people who are convicts, convicted of, in some cases, the worst crimes. And viewers are asking, why are we giving them £2,000 when we've made them leave the country because they have committed crimes against the country?
Well, the first point to make is on deportations and removals. We've removed 35,000 people who didn't have a right to be in the country over the past year. That's an increased rate of removals. On the matter of credit cards, I haven't seen the report, and I expect the Home Office will respond to the report later today. I don't know the circumstances of that.
It's a resettlement fee, and it's only given if people cooperate with their deportation. But in the case of foreign criminals, people who've actually committed crimes, viewers are wondering how we've got that sort of money to give people who are convicts, who we're effectively kicking out of the country, so much cash.
Well, I haven't seen the report. As I say, it's best that my colleagues at the Home Office respond to that. They oversee this deportation system, and it's best that they do that when they've got the full facts. I'm just hearing about it as you quote it to me this morning.
Well, in effect, it's a bribe. It's to get them to go quietly. If they don't go quietly, we'll see in the report. If they act up, as some of them do, some of them throw cups of urine at police officers and immigration officers. Others kick and scream and yell and make threats. They don't get the card. But if they go quietly, they get up to £2,000. It's a straightforward bribe. It's the principle we're talking about, really. You must have a view on that.
Well, look, it's always difficult to comment on an individual case, and I think it's unwise to do that. I think having reported on the issue, it's better that the Home Office respond to that and they set out the circumstances where these cards can be used and where they can't.
All right, Pat McFadden, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning from the hallowed turf
of Selhurst Park. Enjoy your day.